and I want to come in and tell it, kind of attach that information to the customer card, especially if I don't have a sophisticated CRM, customer relationship management system or other means of tracking that information. Within NAV, I can actually store some of that information here and make it available to other users should they ever need to look at that information. So I can create what's called a link, and I come in here and just hit New. And in this particular case, we're going to go ahead and just attach that invoice list. So should it ever become an option, or an issue, I should say, Canon invoices as of 8/18. And go ahead and save that. Kind of a record going against that customer. And then if I come down off to the right in backbox area, just a little side note, I didn't review this, but we also have the information, to actually have map information and weather information right within NAV, RTC. So kind of cool, and gives me the ability to see what's going on at that customer location. But if I come down, the link we just created is residing now here, and if I click on it, I can go ahead and open it. And in this particular case, I am Susan, but I could easily, whomever I'm logged in as, would have access to that information. So this allows me to communicate maybe a little bit more effectively. You may want to also use that for inventory prints, PDF files, basically anything that I can capture as a file, I can link right to the customer, to the vendor, to the part numbers. So that's kind of a nice little option there. The other big thing, and we'll flip back over to the Role Center, the other thing you may have heard about a lot with NAV 2009 is the web service. Hear that terminology, sounds like it's internet only, but web services allows us to, allows the NAV business logic and the data, allows it to be available to other applications. So it helps simplify some of the information exchange and integration with other systems. So what I thought I'd show this afternoon is maybe just two simple examples of that technology, and then you can kind of extrapolate from there how you would possibly use it within your organization. So the first example would be using it within SharePoint. Microsoft SharePoint allows me to use that as an intranet tool to share information within the organization. It also could serve as a very nice vehicle for me to allow users to enter information or query information without having a full-blown NAV license. And I can do that with the web service technology. So in this particular case, Kronos is the sample company I'm using. I have set up areas, sales department, who has areas within SharePoint that they can view NAV information and not be in the product. So that, is set up in something a higher level administrator would do. But I'm going to flip to production department to show the example. And in our demo world here, I've decided to share the item list with the production department and certain bits of information from the item card. And because I allow these individuals to do edits on certain fields, they can edit information here and save it, and it will update NAV. And web service is the vehicle that allows me to do that exchange. So in this particular case, we have the item number 1000. We have a description bicycle. And let's say I want to throw the word test on the end, just because, to kind of demonstrate how that works. And I'll hit save. And now if I flip back to NAV, it doesn't matter who I am. And in this case, I'm going to Susan's role. And I come to the items. see bicycle as test. I guess I should have shown you it said bicycle first, so we'll go ahead and if I flip back to that screen and I remove test and save, and then back to NAV, and I F5 to refresh, the test is gone. So pretty powerful. Allows me to get kind of creative. I'm going to flip back to SharePoint. Allows me to get creative as to how I want to share information with the rest of the company, and selectively allows information updating. So pretty powerful stuff here. Also, Output Journal just show briefly kind of the ability to, in this case, allow my manufacturing people to update information within a document and then send that off to approval and upload that within NAV. So kind of just trying to explain or explore different ways you can use that. Data collection is also a pretty good example of utilizing web services. So one example there, how to use SharePoint as a vehicle to get information in and out of the system. And once again, they have to have security, and you're going to want to be careful about, obviously who has access to what information, no differently than you would setting up their user information in NAV. So I'll minimize SharePoint. I'm going to come back, always back home to the Role Center, still within Susan's particular role. Second example I want to show today is data entry manipulation and update. Maybe in this example, a little bit more what I'd call hardcore data entry and data updates. So if I come back in, and I'm going to go to the customer list, and in this particular example, I have customer locations that belong to a location, yellow, and only the locations in South Africa. Yellow location is going away, going to be replaced with green. Other example maybe more relevant is salesperson shift. John is no longer taking care of these 200 customers. Bob is now taking care of them. Typically, when I have to do that kind of data entry, I have to pull up every screen, hit OK, and go to the next, to the next, to the next. So with web services, and in this example that I'm going to show here, with web services, I can do that, what I'd call slam it in data entry within Excel, and still keep the NAV rules and bring that information back much more quickly than I could in these screens. So once again, back, South Africa is the particular country, and I'm doing that only because it's just a handful of records to kind of show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to filter, and I want to only see customers in South Africa, and they all happen to belong to yellow, which is the location they currently the location that's currently attached to them. But we're going to change all yellow locations to green. So we've got that information here. I'll come over to Actions and use the option Edit in Excel. What it's going to do is take that filtered information, open Excel, and it's going to take with it the NAV logic. So it is not going to let me destroy information or run rogue as far as what I want to update. So here we just kind of have what I call a data dump of all the fields in that customer file, and we're looking for location. So I'm going to go ahead and use just a standard Excel function to find location.